This edition of The Local Live is brought to you by BizG87, an art gallery and space in Larchmont for artists and entrepreneurs.
Tonight on The Local Live, we'll show you some great choices in Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. Take your pick at some of the activities this coming week around town. And on tonight's roundtable, learn about the Westchester Social Justice Forum. Good evening, it's Thursday, March 14th. I'm Sibylla Chipaziwa, and welcome to The Local Live. Believe it or not, spring is right around the corner, and one of the best ways to look forward to the season is by sampling some of spring's bounty. Hudson Valley Restaurant Week runs until Sunday, March 24th, and we visited 4 participating restaurants to give you a peek inside. Lenny's Seafood and Steakhouse in Larchmont is up first.
So Lenny's Seafood and Steakhouse specializes in fresh daily seafoods like fresh clams, oysters, shrimps, lobsters, different kind of fish. And then we have the prime cuts, USDA, dry aged, 21 day. Lenny's unique and it's in an on way for different reasons. We provide to community with warmth, service, friendly, high quality of food. The reason I opened this because I own Il Castello in Mamaroneck, as everyone knows, very popular too, and we decided to change it a little bit. So we hired a high-end chef from one of steakhouses in New York, and we became partners a little bit. And we opened Lenny's in Larchmont, and then I just opened second location in Norman. Hudson Valley Restaurant Week, it's a very good way of giving back to community, appreciating your clientele, customers, neighborhoods, getting involved with the community in different ways. So it's a very good way of being connected with your clients and other businesses around. It almost became like a feast. So with Chef, we said we try our best to give as much and as better choices for Restaurant Week to represent ourselves as more as possible could be. So we have in our menu all kind. You have like cold seafood platter, you have a different homemade soup, salads, and then for entrees we have like a New York strip prime aged, we have a pork chop, fish. So we try to get everything in there so this way people are pleased with the choices that are there. A lot of different Italian choices. So we have fresh homemade pastas. We have all different type fishes. Side dishes are fabulous too. Just want to thank everyone for the support. Hopefully everyone comes and tries in the restaurant weeks, and hopefully everybody will be happy.
Lenny just mentioned his other restaurant in the village of Mamaroneck. You'll find old world Italian cuisine at Il Castello.
So coming to Castello, it's like coming to someone's home. I'm here all the time. I greet my clients. We specialize in northern Italian cuisine, which is a lot of fresh, whole roasted fish. We have our delicious homemade pastas like pappardelle with bolognese, homemade cheese raviolis, different type black ink fettuccine with seafood, homemade soups from the scratch. I'm Albanian from Montenegro. We grew up in a big family where we cooked all kind of food, so our food is more Mediterranean, like we always cooked fish, meats. We have gardens for salads, vegetables. We made our own doughs for pastas. I love doing this. I love people. Customers become my friends, which actually we do do a lot of stuff with my clients, going away, going out to dinner, or just hang out together. We want to thank our clients for support. We are here to provide the best of best, food, service, ambiance. We have regular customers that come all the time, feel very comfortable. I had a restaurant before this location in town called same name, Il Castello, which I started 2001. And it's my home away from home.
Back in Larchmont, you'll find new and old American cuisine in a lounge setting at Vintage 1891 Kitchen.
The 1891 Kitchen is a new American restaurant and lounge in Larchmont, New York. We have a ever-evolving menu, so there's always a little something new for you, but we also stick to some of our vintage classics as well. So it's a nice variety for people of all ages. Hudson Valley Restaurant Week is a great way to meet new customers. It's a great way to promote the restaurant. There's a lot of great restaurants that participate, and we're proud to be in the group with them. And it's also nice for our regulars to get a little bit of a deal once in a while. You know, it falls around our anniversary, so it's like a little celebration. We were not originally owners when it first opened. It was a wine bar and it had a completely different concept, but we took it over, had a full kitchen installed, and kind of never looked back.
About 2 miles south of Larchmont on Boston Post Road, Maria in New Rochelle has a new take on Italian cuisine.
Maria, Maria was my mom, and she was the chef of the family, self-taught. And she's been gone about 20 years, so this restaurant, a tribute to her, has been long overdue. She's the reason we do what we do. Besides my dad, who, you know, had his pizzerias in the Bronx for 30 years, all of us grew up by their sides and at their knee, learning how to cook and behind the counter. So at 5 years old, I was already behind a pizza counter doing my thing. So as you well know, we have Pops next door, which was a tribute to my dad. He was Pops. And Maria is a tribute to my mom, Maria. We also have Fratelli Pizza in between these two stores, which is long-standing in the community, been here about 20 years. So we're pretty well established, but it's been a natural evolution for us to grow and evolve and do what we do and try and become better at it and try and keep our customer base happy and expand and stretch into new demographics, new people, and just feed people and make them happy through food. That's what we do. I call it New Italian. It's a little funky. There's some cool stuff going on, new stuff. There's a lot of traditional, old school Italian stuff. You can definitely see the influence of Italy and where I came from and the Bronx and southern Italy. So you're gonna have a lot of tomato sauce, tomato-based items, but then, again, I always say evolve or evaporate. So you gotta grow, you gotta change, you gotta experiment. As a chef, we love doing that. We love playing with food. So Maria is pushing my own parameters a little bit and saying, okay, I'm teaching myself something every day. So we're using some ingredients, some Asian ingredients, some French techniques. It's our first year open, so it's our first participation in Hudson Valley Restaurant Week. I've always thought it's a great thing. It's a great way for people who don't normally dine out at cooler restaurants to get a chance to do so at a great value. And it's also a way of us giving back to customers. It's a great deal for our regular customers who want to come in and do a little tasting menu and spoil themselves. So it's a fun night out.
And on tonight's roundtable, 2 members of WESPAC will talk about the upcoming Westchester Social Justice Forum.
Hello, I'm Mike Witch, and welcome to tonight's roundtable. Tonight I'm joined by Khader. She's the executive director of WESPAC, and with her, Cornell Lord Judah Carelock. He's on the planning committee of WESPAC, and he's also the founder of the True Heart Academy. And True Heart Academy is a partner of WESPAC. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Local Live. Thank you for spending some time with us. And the big item tonight we want to talk about is this. This is the Social Justice Forum. It's next Sunday.
A week from Sunday, March 24th.
Okay. And it is an all-day affair.
All afternoon.
All afternoon affair. So far, I'm wrong on two things. And it's supposed to be the largest social justice gathering in Westchester County. So this is big. And folks, I've got a lot of questions for our guests. And if you've got questions, you should call in now, or you can email or send a tweet, and we'll get your question answered, hopefully. So, Nada, tell us a little bit about WESPAC.
Okay. WESPAC stands for Westchester People's Action Coalition. It was started in 1974 by Connie Hogarth and Charlie Shiner, both of whom continue to work for social justice. And we've served as one of the hubs in Westchester County that connects people with each other, that promotes and supports progressive movement building and different campaigns for progressive social change. So we have a very proud history, a 45-year history, and we're still going on.
I read on your website that the city of White Plains honored you last year with a proclamation. 44 years at that point. Now we have to add a year.
That's right, and the wording on that proclamation is very beautiful. So we're proud of our history.
And that's on the website so people can
Yes,
read it.
it
Is it Lord Judah? May I just refer to you as the Lord Judah?
That's fine.
Your organization, the True Heart Academy, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, True Heart Academy, I formed it 2 years ago, and it's an organization based around healing through art. So if anyone knew me or have known of me and my work, I started out as a hip-hop artist. And over the years, I've been creating different programs for youth-generated programs, trying to encourage healing through using music, through spreading social justice, social action, raising awareness. So True Heart Academy is a new adaptation to using art to figure out how we can heal ourselves a little bit deeper. So that's how I came up with True Heart Academy. And I do workshops throughout the course of the year. And I also have downloadable content now that I make available for people to have their own internal journey on just an exploration, visually, musically,
So
using movement.
what do you and True Heart get out of your association with WESPAC?
As an artist, WESPAC has supported me as a young artist, organizing throughout the community, providing opportunities for other young people to express themselves, raise their voices. So
Do you
as
get
a
moral support?
yes, as a young artist, trying to find my way, trying to figure out how to have a voice inside of the community.
Sure.
WESPAC was one of those supporting agencies that gave us opportunities to have events and get permits to have our music played. And over the course of working with WESPAC, I've just learned how to organize and bring people together. And the partnership has been going on, ever since.
And is the True Heart Academy typical of the kinds of organizations that are in WESPAC?
Yes, I mean, we're very proud of the work that Lord Judah does. As Lord Judah mentioned, we provide not only moral support, but material support. We have a beautiful office space that is very light with windows on almost all sides of the office. And it's very conducive to workshops such that Lord Judah offers to the community. It's conducive to community forums, to book discussions, to expert speaker events, to film screenings. So we're in White Plains, and we're a treasured community institution.
Well, your website has a line that I just love. It says you're educating agitating and organizing for a more peaceful world. And also it highlights an end to militarism and racism and for a more fair economy that works for all. Does that about sum up the goal of the organizations that are part of WESPAC?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
We're looking for a world in which every person has their basic needs met, in which we support the dignity and the potential of every person. We respect the rights, the human rights, as defined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That's the vision of justice. We deeply support racial equity and all that that means.
And criminal justice reform, I read, is one of the activities that WESPAC is involved in.
Well, currently we're playing a supportive role of efforts for serious bail reform, discovery law reform, and speedy trial reform in New York State. There's a campaign that we are a part of. It's called Free New York, and it's led by Just Leadership USA. And we've been organizing in Westchester County, and we hope that this year, in 2019, Albany will pass significant legislation that will end cash bail in New York State. So in other words, it's extremely unfair where you have two people that have committed the same offense, and one of them walks free because they were able to pay the bail, and the other person doesn't walk free because they can't afford the $500, the $1,000, whatever the bail is. So they're in pretrial incarceration and pretrial detention, and so we feel that that does not make anybody safer. In fact, it's unjust to have a cash bail system. So this specific issue is super important, as well as the discovery meaning the evidence that a prosecutor has against you. You know, currently in New York State, the evidence that someone has against you is not revealed until very close to your trial. So your defense team doesn't have adequate time to prepare themselves rigorously for your defense. So that really disadvantages people. So we feel that evidence that a prosecutor has against a person should be made available so their defense team can prepare.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm sure you can tell me about the impact that WESPAC organizations have had in Westchester, and we're also going to talk in detail about this forum. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Do you need space for a meeting, conference, or presentation? LMC TV has what you need. Our 768 square foot studio space is ideal for many types of productions, readings, recitals, rehearsals, and workshops. The space has video recording capability, as well as daylight temperature lighting, green screen, and stage. 2 additional rooms at 208 and 156 square feet can be used for any of your needs. Auditions, meetings, classes, workshops, one-on-one instructions, and more. Both rooms feature video monitors with Chromecasting capability, making presentations a breeze. To reserve one or more of our spaces,
contact us at reserve@lmctv.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back. We have representatives from WESPAC here to talk about the upcoming Westchester Social Justice Forum. And I asked you just before the break if there were examples of the impact that WESPAC organizations have had. And I know one of them must be the closing of Indian Point.
Yes, our founder, Connie Hogarth, started the movement decades ago to close Indian Point. And it's been documented that this nuclear power plant in our midst has been leaking radioactive radiation. It's also apparently constructed on a fault line. So God forbid if there were ever an earthquake in our area, a serious earthquake, it could have devastating impacts on us and on all the natural environment as well. So after so many years, even the governor of New York State has sided with the peace and justice activists who've been asking for this plant to be shut down. We want to protect the jobs of the people who live there.
Yeah.
And of course, we support the environmental movement's vision for a renewable New York, the Green New Deal for New York. In other words, rather than transforming Indian Point into a fracked gas plant, which we don't support because fracking is so toxic and poisonous.
And yet there's a pipeline that runs right
there's
nearby.
There's a pipeline, and they're expanding the pipeline, and they want to export fracked gas overseas. It's all very dangerous and polluting. We would much rather see public tax dollars being invested solidly in renewable energies, wind, solar, water. We can even use tidal energies now. So there's no reason why we cannot shift ourselves away from these nasty, dirty fossil fuels that create so many problems into a cleaner, safer, healthier world, not just for us, but as the indigenous people say, for the next 7 generations.
So at the Social Justice Forum, will people who attend learn techniques? Will they get tools to help organize and agitate, as you say, for change?
Well, half of the do you want to answer that?
Let me ask Lord Judah that question.
In my experience, being involved with different social forums, I've learned that networking is a great thing that comes out of it. I've went to Detroit Social Forum. We started the Lower Hudson Valley Forum in 2010, and from then on, we've been, just providing opportunities for people to learn about issues that others are passionate about. My particular focus has always been young people and trying to have them come out and learn about where they can be, constructive members of society and productive and challenge things. So it's a great opportunity to get exposed to information for anyone, to learn about some of the specific issues that some people are having passion about. And then, you come in and you never know who you might network with or meet, so.
Now, you have a bit of breaking news that one of the guests at the Social Forum was supposed to be someone who works with Amy Goodman on her show Democracy Now!, which we air on LMC TV.
Wonderful.
But it's going to be one better, Amy herself.
Yes. We just found out today that Amy Goodman will be coming and offering the keynote presentation at the opening plenary. And the subject of her presentation will be the role of independent media in a healthy democratic society. And this is her expertise. She's been doing Democracy Now! For decades.
Yes.
We respect her work very much. She's a very well-known name in the progressive community across the United States and quite frankly across the world, because many people in other countries listen in.
Yes, it's a widespread program.
So
we're very happy and proud to be playing it up here for our viewers.
Good.
So tell me about a couple of the workshops that are going to be offered. They start, according to the website, they start about 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah. So just to piggyback on what Lord Judah was saying, half the value of the social forum is the networking opportunity. There will be over 40 organizations tabling. So anyone in Westchester or even beyond Westchester, it's a public event, who would like to learn more about the organizations locally working for racial, economic, environmental, social justice should come and see who's doing what. The second part of the social forum, which is really important, is that we want to break the silos. In other words, you have people in Westchester who are just focused on one issue, but we want people to feel that they're actually part of a broader movement for justice, so that even if you're passionate about the environment, come and support us when we're working on racial justice issues as well. And in that way, when we support you and you support us, we're building an overall stronger movement for change. So that's, those are the two really main objectives, I would say, of the forum. We have a variety of workshops. Perhaps Judah can start with the Christian Philemon, if you want to say them.
Christian Philemon, working with the Westchester Youth Shelter. That program, that workshop that he's going to give is going to be talking about youth and how after we've raised the age now what? And he's done great work over the years.
This is the age for that a youth can be charged as an adult. So I believe it was raised to 18.
It was raised to 18, and Mr. Philemon, actually, I just found out recently, I didn't know, but the youth shelter in Mount Vernon, under the leadership of Mr. Philemon, has become a national model. So he's done really important work with transforming that institution. And one of his main points is that the human brain does not fully develop until the age of 25. So he feels it's not appropriate for us to be treating young people, even older than 18, as adults in the criminal justice system.
But these would be mainly the 16 and 17-year-olds who used to be treated as an adult.
Right.
And now we need to figure out how to deal with them.
And he will be talking about that.
You've got a workshop that's going to be led by youth too, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Yes, gun violence workshop. I don't know all of the details with what they're going to present, but I know it's some young high school children, high school youth.
Well, they're taking the lead in not only Florida, but the United States. Those kids from Parkland. I call them kids, not to demean, but youth from Parkland. I think the youth movement, as I've read the last several months, is one that gives me a lot of hope.
Absolutely.
For the future.
We have 3 different high school students from Westchester, 3 different school districts in Westchester who will be presenting the information. Last year in White Plains, the high school youth organized a huge march of 4,000 or 5,000 people in downtown White Plains. So it should be a really interesting panel, and we encourage people to come and listen and learn and engage with our youth that have shown leadership.
You've got something like a dozen workshops. I think we'll talk about more of them, and we're could be right back right after these messages. So stay tuned.
LMC TV Media Center is the spot for your next party. Lights, camera, liftoff. The possibilities are endless. Space adventures, video gaming, whatever they imagine, LMC can achieve. Kids of all ages have fun making their own videos in our professional TV studio. LMC TV is the perfect spot for your creative kid to celebrate with friends and make a memory that will last forever in video. Party themes can range depending on their desire. Fun news shows, music videos, stop motion, overall silliness, our cameras can capture it all. Contact us to book a party today.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to the live roundtable here at LMC TV on the Local Live. We've got a few more minutes of conversation, and if you've got a question or a comment, now's the time to make it. Our phone lines are open, and you can also tweet or email your question, and we'll have it answered right here. Another workshop. There's one on hate speech and hate incidents and hate crimes in Westchester.
Yes, we wanted to make sure that we had a workshop addressing how is Westchester County as a whole, and how are the municipalities and how are community groups responding to the increase in hate incidents and hate crimes in the wake of the last presidential election. And so we've organized a really dynamic panel We have the Reverend Doris Dalton, who's the chair of the Westchester County Human Rights Commission, who will be speaking about initiatives at the Human Rights Commission level. We have Susan Brownbill-Vega. She's the director of she's the head of the Hate Crimes Unit at the Westchester County District Attorney's Office. And she's going to be talking about data in Westchester County. So if people want to see what's been happening in terms of hate incidents and crimes that are being actually reported, she will share that with us. And we also have Stu Hackle, who is one of the founders of the Coalition Against Hate. He's also the co-chair of the Greenberg Human Rights Committee. And they've been very active responding to whenever a hate incident crops up, whether it's a swastika that's been spray painted or other incidents that have happened targeting African Americans, LGBTQ, immigrant community, the Jewish community, Islamophobic incidents, and there have been quite a few of those. That a lot of the Islamophobic incidents are not being reported simply because the Muslim community wants to keep a low profile in Westchester.
It's understandable. On the website, westchestersocialforum.org, there is a description of all of these workshops. If I can mention a couple more.
Sure.
There's one on growing and using medicinal plants, ending racism and injustice in our food system. You mentioned the gun violence led by high school students, survivors of the Me Too movement. I mean, we read all about the perpetrators, but do we hear too much from the survivors?
Exactly.
Maybe a little soundbite on TV or a little mention in a paper, but nothing more. And here we're going to hear much more.
And Reverend Kim McNair, who's running that workshop, she's an important community leader and a clergy person of a church, an African American church in Bedford Hills in northern Westchester. And she's been working closely with My Sister's Place, which provides services for victims of domestic violence.
So what will the day be like? It starts at 12:30, I believe, is your keynote?
We actually are encouraging people to arrive as early as possible. We will be at SUNY Purchase College in Purchase, New York, 735 Anderson Hill Road. The parking lot is W2. We just found out yesterday, actually, that our building, the music building, is right next to the Performing Arts Center, and they're having a big event, a sold-out event at the same time. So they're telling us to tell our people, come early, because otherwise the college police will direct you to another parking lot that will be
Just have to walk a little bit.
Another distance. So people should plan to arrive 11:45 to 12 noon. The tables will be set up. The 40 organizations will be sharing information about what they do. 1:30, we're starting the opening plenary for 1 hour. We have the Peace Poets coming up from the Bronx. They're social justice artists. We have Amy Goodman, who will talk about the importance of independent media. We have Amani from Soulfire Farm, who will be also performing for us as part of the opening plenary. And then the workshops start at 3 o'clock, 1 hour session, and then another workshop at 4:15. And we close at 5:30 p.m. for a brief closing ceremony.
And you have a dance afterwards?
The closing ceremony will be a participatory collective dance, yes.
Oh, that sounds
I hope you're
interesting.
planning to come, Mike.
Sounds great.
Are you
I'd
free
love to
that
come.
afternoon?
I believe I am, yes. Yes, I'd love to come.
Well, we would love for you to come.
Well, fine. Is there the last bit of information you want to impart here before we close?
Well, for a young person or young people or any group leaders that are working with young people, this is a great opportunity to engage them in learning about issues that people can be passionate about and what to do. What are your next steps if you're passionate about something? Youth these days are being stimulated in different ways, and for them to figure out, all right, how can I make things better? You know, that's that's what I think a young person could take away from coming and attending, and people that support young people can take away from attending this. So my main focus is really to try to galvanize young people around this idea of social justice, because once they're engaged, then, you know, as communities, as society, you know, things will change.
I should mention the cost too. The website says there's a suggested donation of, I think, students $10.
But it's completely optional, and absolutely no one will be turned away.
Okay.
It's $10 to $20, $20 if you can afford it. We'd like to sustain our movement. We need funds to sustain our movement, and there's certainly definitely costs associated with putting on a large gathering like the social forum.
Sure. Well, thank you for spending time with us. And again, the social forum is on Sunday, March 24th. It's at SUNY Purchase in the Music Building.
That's right.
Get there a little early because there's competition with Performing Arts Center folks in the parking lot. But getting there early gives you a chance to see more tables.
That's right.
Visit more tables, get some information, and then settle back and be stimulated by Amy Goodman and the performers that are going to be at this forum.
And we'll have complimentary refreshments as well.
Oh, that makes it. That's all we need to hear, right? Again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more of The Local Live.
Do you have a great idea for a YouTube video or a short film, but don't know how to make it happen? LMC TV has what you need. Our equipment cage is stocked with professional quality cameras, tripods, lighting, sound, cabling, and more. Our 768 square foot studio features a full lighting grid, wraparound green screen, teleprompter, TriCaster, and high definition cameras. To reserve equipment, contact us at reserve@lmctv.org.
Here's what's happening around town. The Westchester County School Music Association is hosting the Senior High All-County Jazz Band Concert. Enjoy the musical performance on Friday, March 15th at 7:30 p.m. at Homix Middle School. Start your Saturday morning with the Spirituality of Beauty event. On March 16th, Father Anthony Ciora will discuss how the awareness of beauty in life can even illuminate the darkness. And that will be followed by a book signing. The event will be held from 10 until 11 a.m. at St. Augustine's Church in Larchmont. Continue your St. Patrick's Day festivities with the musical duo Slate Fort Creek. They will perform Celtic folk music on Sunday, March 17th at the Larchmont Public Library starting at 4 p.m. Join the STEM Alliance to celebrate the Co-op Summer Enrichment Program. The event will be hosted at the One River School of Art and Design from 6 to 9 p.m. on Monday, March 18th. Enjoy creative artwork by participating campers and photography by Sandra Wong-Giroux, on display through the end of March.
LMC Cast. The whole system is fine. All right, cool. I definitely would recommend doing podcasts if you are someone that likes to get something off the chest, or you want to just talk about anything in the world that just might interest you. Podcast here at LMC TV is amazing.
I hope you're listening out there.
LMC-TV would like to thank local artist Jamie Lynn at Made, an art studio in Mamaroneck, for creating a beautiful community mural. Place your piece in this mural by contributing to LMC-TV, the community connection that brings you local board meetings, varsity sports, and your local news. Please contribute to this community mural by going to our website and clicking on Donate. Each contributor will be listed next to the mural when it's complete. We value your appreciation of what we do. Become a single donor or as a group, go to lmctv.org. The only piece missing is you.
The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece missing is you. The only piece Two brothers from Mamaroneck are handing out cocoa for a good cause. Evan and Joshua's hot cocoa stand has raised more than $40,000 for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation over the past 13 years. Reporter Maral Kathwari has the story.
On a cold day 13 years ago, a little boy in Mamaroneck had a bright idea to give back to some neighbors and make some hot cocoa. 13 years later, it's evolved into Evan and Josh's Hot Cocoa Stand, a charity that's raised over $40,000 towards pediatric cancer research.
We've gone around town and asked some local restaurants and places for donations, and since it's such a great cause, they're, for the most part, more than willing to help out. Like Green Life and Milk and Cookies on Mamaroneck Ave, I know, are two vendors who have given us $25 gift cards to raffle off.
What's your favorite part besides giving back? Anything special?
The food.
Oh, awesome. The food's pretty good. Those brownies are really good.
Brownies are good.
5-year-old boy comes back from school one day and he has a list. And my wife goes, "What is that?" He goes, "It's all my friends. During lunch, I actually asked them to sign up and help me with the hot cocoa stand." So we said, wow, this is a boy who's determined to really do this.
Every year is a huge success. It gets bigger and better in every way. All the money that they raise helps children with cancer, and Pediatric Cancer Foundation is enormously grateful.
If you would like to donate and get involved, visit ejhotcocoa.com. Reporting for the Local Live, I'm Maral Kathwari.
On Monday, a local crossing guard received recognition from the Mamaroneck Village Board of Trustees for saving a child's life.
For swift action on December 6, 2018, to protect the children walking to and from elementary school. Her actions prevented a more serious accident and further injuries. For this, we thank Mary Lou for her diligent work on behalf of the Village of Mamaroneck and applaud her dedication to our children. And would you please come up so I can present this to you? And you were the young lady whose life was saved by Mary Lou. Well, thank you, Mary Lou, for saving such a beautiful child, and we look forward to great things from you, young lady. Would you like to say thank you?
Good evening, everyone. I love kids. I have my grandchildren with me. I love them dearly. And I treat all children the way I would want them to treat my children and my grandchildren back. On behalf of, I work also at Post Road Realty, which the car went through our building. No one was in at that time, but they were graciously made a generous offer to buy Philomene a bicycle. So Anthony DeSicchio, who's behalf of Post Road Realty, was nice enough to buy her a bike, and Miller's Bicycle Shop made a nice contribution to making it happen. So we're giving the bike tonight to Philomene, and you're welcome to take it, and good luck.
Do you have a news tip? Seen anything interesting around town? Is there breaking news in your community? Send your videos, comments, pictures, and tips to the Local Live, your news source of Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
Remember, if you missed Thursday's live broadcast, you can catch replays of the Local Live twice a day on this channel and find story clips on our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on things you may have missed. Thank you for watching the Local Live. I'm your host, Sibylla Chipaziwa. LMC TV will see you on Sunday for the Sound Shore St. Patrick's Day Parade. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
This edition of The Local Live is brought to you by BizG87, an art gallery and space in Larchmont for artists and entrepreneurs. If you are interested in sponsoring this or other programs on LMC TV, contact us for more information.